Here we have our Butterball premium turkey, all natural it says. This has the 8% brine. This is pretty much the only turkey we can buy in Japan that we're aware of. It's sold at Costco. Thankfully we have a Costco. It came about a couple years ago close to us. And this is 6.44 kilograms. Costs 3,600 yen. And we're going to give it a go today. This is in pounds about a 13-pounder, and this is the first time I have roasted a turkey in the oven. The only other time I've cooked a turkey was on the barbecue on rotisserie, but since I don't have power outside with the place we live now, I thought it'd be easier to do it in the oven. Oh. So, get the netting off here. Then, turn him around. Raised without hormones, premium, young turkey. Contains up to 8% solution of water, salt, spices, and natural flavor. I think that means we don't have to brine it. That's what everybody says on the internet. Of course, everybody on the internet is always right? Hopefully it will be salty enough. Now, it gives instructions on how to open the bag, and insert one finger from each hand in the holes, and with even force pull one hole to the right and the other to the left until the bag starts opening. So that's what we'll do. Ready? It's ready, I guess, as it'll ever be. Maybe I should put some kitchen towels or paper towels underneath. I don't know how much liquid it's going to be. I have been defrosting it for the past 3.5 days. It's been a little bit over 3.5 days, which for this weight of a turkey is, from what I understand, the correct amount of time from going from frozen to fully defrosted. It was still a bit crispy on the bottom from the frost on the bottom of the turkey, even though I had it on this rack. But it was pretty much defrosted, and it's still quite cold, even though I pulled it out of the refrigerator an hour ago. And I plan to roast it about an hour from now. So here we go. Oh, okay. Well, that didn't work as well as the package said it would. Alright. You got some blood there. You got juices galore. Juices galore. And my rack holder out of the way. Just put this over the sink, I guess. Drain into the sink. Wow. Some serious set of juices there. Now I'm supposed to dry this off and let the turkey completely dry. As best as it can before roasting. Now on the inside we've got some stuff that we should take out. A bit of ice and quite a bit of ice actually. The neck. Got the neck of the turkey here. Okay. What else? Get the bag of giblets and the heart and liver, all of that in here. Okay. Oh. Not sure if I'm supposed to rinse it or not, but it seems like it'd probably be a good idea to rinse the bird. So I will do that. Alright, so we got him rinsed. Not too much though. Just mainly on the inside cavity. Get all that blood out there. And you can see the legs are already tucked under this fold of skin here. Legs are tucked in there, so they won't move around, and I won't really need to truss the turkey with string. Wings, I suppose I can tuck under the turkey, but now I just need to give him a dry pat both inside and out. I'm not sure how dry it's supposed to be with a towel, but it seems about as dry as I'm going to get him by toweling. So now, looking at my clock, I'll just leave him open air for about 15 minutes to a half hour. And again, let the temperature, he's still really quite cold to the touch, even though I pulled him out of the refrigerator an hour and 15 minutes ago. I will just let him sit on my rack here for again about 20 minutes, maybe to a half hour, and then put in the filling. So on the table here we have our celery, parsley, lemon, onion, carrot, and garlic for the inside. So these are the spices for the butter. 200 grams of butter, unsalted, 1 block, which is expensive and is about 450 yen. Then we've got a little bit of paprika. No recipe called for this, but for birds you should use some paprika, I would think. Pepper, finely, not coarse, but fine. Sage, supposed to use fresh, but we don't have any in Japan, so we use the dried. Mixed herbs, has oregano in it, which no recipe called for, but can't be helped. This has marjoram and thyme in it, as well as basil and oregano. So we use that, and then brown sugar, a little bit of that. Again, this is unsalted, and supposedly that's what we're supposed to use, so we'll go with that, and should put some parsley in too, but we can take a little bit of this fresh parsley, finely chopped, and mix it together. So here we've got the oven set to 200 watts, 5 minutes, just to soften the butter because we've just pulled it out of the refrigerator. This is the parsley for the butter. Just taking a guess at how much it is. Maybe half of what we prepared. The rest of the half we will put inside the bird itself, and that's what we are preparing here. Here's the chopped up filling for the inside of the bird. You can see we've got maybe 3 or 4 pieces of lemon, about this size. Some people said apples and oranges, and I kind of fear to put such things inside the turkey. But lemon juice, a little bit, maybe that might be okay. At least that's my thinking. So we've got onions and the parsley and carrots, and again the lemon there, and that's what we'll put inside the turkey instead of normal stuffing. Okay, here we are back at the bird. We've got our filling that we're going to put in. Well, the thing that's bothering me about it is I don't know how much salt is in these Butterballs. Is it too salty? Is it just right? And what about the filling? If we don't salt this a little tiny bit, won't this pull out some of the salt so that the bird itself won't be salty enough? That's the part that troubles me. So I don't really know. I don't really know what I should do on that point. Again, we don't have fresh sage, so I'll use some of this dried stuff a little bit along with the other filling. And just put that over like so. Sage there. Salt, should I add a little bit? Gosh, I just don't know. See, we have sea salt here, and it's saltier than normal salt, so should I put salt in? And if so, how much salt should it be? That's what really worries me. So I'll just put a little bit. A little bit better than nothing at all, I think. And then continue on with our goodness. Some more sage. And salt. I just don't know. Just don't know. That's good. I'm worried about it. So now what we're going to do is put the butter under the skin, of course outside too, but we can't fit the whole hand in there. And we could use a metal object, but that might pierce the skin, so better to use a rubbery little guy like this, and of course wash it well later. Anyway, to open up the skin, get under there like so. Don't want to pierce the skin. So open it enough so the butter can get under there, which I feel some pressure here. I don't want to tear that skin. I got some pressure. Kind of worries me. I saw a video on it. Somebody seemed to be successful with it, but I just don't want to tear that skin. Certainly not the easiest thing in the world to do, as they say it is, but it isn't. Too difficult, I guess. I think I got it pretty good. Okay, so now we put the butter under and then on the outside. So here's our pan of vegetables where the turkey is going to sit to keep the turkey somewhat suspended. And then the drippings, of course, will go down in there. Now we have our butter. The butter is, well, fixed. We put it in too long and it turned to liquid, and we put it in the freezer and whisked it up, so now it's solidified. So I would say it's better than I hoped. So what we're going to do is put in our herbs and just a little bit of the parsley too. Alright, so now we have our butter mix all ready. Take our trusty spatula, and I've never done this before, so we are going to see how it works, if it works at all. Okay. That's clearly I'm not doing it right. So here is the buttered bird. We used most, but not all, of our butter, so maybe you don't need quite a full block of 200 grams, but we put it under the skin and then around the bird pretty much everywhere, maybe even too much. Again, this is the first time doing it, so I'm not sure. The brand is Butterball, but now it is truly a Butterball. So we're prepping the onion right now, or the oven right now at 220 degrees Celsius, which is 425 degrees Fahrenheit, which will cook that way for about 20 minutes. And I've read we're supposed to put a foil on top, but we'll see. Maybe I should do that during the high temperature. And then we reduce it to 325 Fahrenheit, which is 163, 164 Celsius, although our oven only lets us do 160. And then the total cooking time will be about 3 to 3.5 hours. Right now it's been 2 hours and 50 minutes since I pulled it from the refrigerator, which is about the upper end of what you're supposed to do. So we need to put it in the oven right at about 3 hours from the time I pulled it out. So here is the turkey in our oven. Yes, folks, this is an oven. If you live in Japan, you know this is an oven. If you live outside Japan, you say this looks like a microwave. And actually it has microwave features, but also an oven feature. They don't have actual real ovens here. Dutch ovens, what I mean is. So this 13-pound turkey is about all that's going to fit. In fact, we're not even cooking it right. There's supposed to be a metal plate that's supposed to go under when you use the oven mode, but to do that would mean the turkey wouldn't fit. There's not enough height in this teensy tiny oven. Anyway, that's all we have, so you know we have to use it. It's at 160 degrees C, which is 325 Fahrenheit. We've been cooking it, well, for the first 20 minutes, it was at 425 Fahrenheit, which is 220 degrees C. Nothing magical about 20 minutes. Some sites told me 30 minutes, some said 40 minutes, but I think 40 is a bit too long at that high temperature, so I made the decision, all right, fine. 20 minutes at 425, or in Celsius, 220. And it's got a little foil, aluminum foil over the top. I still have that on there. One thing I forgot for about the first half hour is that one of the recipe sites suggested putting a little water in the bottom to keep everything moist, and it's easier to collect the drippings that way. So I got a little cup of water, just your standard. You can see how big my hand is in comparison. Not sure how many ounces or liters, but this is the cup. I put a little bit over 1 cup of water into the bottom of the pan. It's the pan is perforated, plus I've got all those vegetables on the bottom, so the water level isn't high enough to touch the turkey. But there is some water in there to do its job of keeping things moist and hopefully giving us some useful drippings when everything is finished. Okay, it's now about an hour and a half, 1.5 hours into cooking of the turkey. The turkey is, of course, still cooking. We're going to make the bouillon, the consomme. I've got the bay leaf in there already. This is 6 cups of water. There's our bay leaf we're putting in the neck, which, of course, was included in the turkey. We've got the heart and gizzard. And what we're going to do is keep this simmering for about 2 hours. And this should, we're going to bring it to a boil, of course, first, then reduce the heat, and then simmer it for those 2 hours. and that should reduce it down from 6 cups to about 4 cups. And then once that's done, we will take out the stock and strain off what is remaining. Well, the turkey is now at the 2-hour mark. I started at 3 o'clock. It's now a little bit after 5. I removed the foil that I had over the breast meat. I put some foil over the feet since they were almost perfectly brown. And then I put a sweet potato in there too, since this is the only oven we have. The only way to cook it is just to lay it there. So that's wrapped in foil. And then once the top browns a bit, if I need to, I can put the foil back on. But for now, we'll leave the breast uncovered, maybe until the end of cooking. 3 hours and 25 minutes. About 15 minutes ago, we pulled out the turkey to measure the temperatures. The breast meat measured 80 degrees centigrade, and the thigh was about the same, which is 175 degrees Fahrenheit, which is done. However, despite all the recipes I've seen which say you only need to measure the thigh and the breast, the fact is when we measured under the wing, it clocked in at only 55 degrees centigrade, which is too low. It's only 131 degrees Fahrenheit. So we put it in a little bit longer, but still the temperature was only 65 degrees Celsius and 149 degrees Fahrenheit, which is still too low. So I don't know how everybody else does it, but this is you look on the internet and all the recipes just say, oh, just check for the breast meat and the thigh, and if those two are okay, then it's okay. But, well, that's crazy, because if the meat under the wing isn't hot enough, it's not safe enough to eat, and yet if you cook it more, you're going to overcook the other parts. So what do you do at this point? Do you take out the bird and not eat those undercooked parts? It's a big decision. So we took out the bird, took out more than half of the fluids, the drippings underneath the turkey, and turned the turkey around to the opposite direction, put foil on top, increased the temperature from 160 degrees centigrade to 200 degrees centigrade. And 200 degrees centigrade is 390 degrees Fahrenheit. So normally your cooking temperature is 325, but now it's at 390. And I mean, when we kept the oven open long enough, all the heat went out, so it pretty much got to be a cold oven while we were checking the temperatures and deciding what to do. Flipping the bird over to do the bottom is something we considered, but how do you do it? How do you flip the bird? We didn't truss it, we didn't wrap it in string. We don't have any tools that would allow us to hold this 13-pound, 6.6 kilogram turkey to flip it, so it's impossible for us to flip this extremely hot bird with our bare hands. You're going to burn your hands if you do that. So we couldn't flip the bird breast down. And also, I don't think we want to anyway. It would probably mess everything up. But if we could flip it, that would make sense, and probably it would have been best if we would have cooked it breast down for maybe the first hour and then breast up for the rest. But that would be for another time. Anyway, while it's cooking at this higher temperature, hopefully that is increasing the temperature of the wings. And what's going to happen to the meat that's already done, I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about it, but at the same time, if we don't increase the temperature to the other parts of the bird, it's going to be a safety problem. So this is probably one of the most critical issues. You don't want to overcook the turkey, but at the same time, if you don't cook the other parts enough, you've got a potential poisoner on your hands. So what are we going to do? That's really the question. And so right now we're just increasing the temperature. I'm going to cook it a little bit more, and hopefully it'll be safe enough at those underwing portions so that we can finally take it out, maybe in another 10 minutes or so. So here's the finished turkey after about, well, considering the time we took it out of the oven, the total cooking time is about 3.5 hours. And the temperature under inside the wing was raised a bit. Not quite as much as I wanted, but to cook it a lot more would have overcooked pretty much everything else. And this is maybe the height of the pan. I'm not sure exactly what. But anyway, the usable drippings, you can see there's more drippings in the pan. And the drippings that we removed from the pan when we tested the temperature are these. And then there's the consomme turkey stock that we made with the neck, the heart, the gizzard, and 6 cups of water, which boiled down. I assume this is about 4 cups, so which has been simmering for 2 hours. We strained off the meat, and here's what's left. So now we'll take the onions from the bottom of the pan and make the rest of the gravy. So here's our soup mixture. What we did is we put the flour in, the onions in, and a little bit of the drippings, the fat. And for 5 minutes we simmered that and cooked it down. Then I dumped in the rest of the consomme and the drippings from the pan. And it might need a little bit more flour. But for now we're going to bring it to a boil. And then bring it to a boil and then salt and pepper at the very end. So it's been brought to a boil, and we've got the heat down on low. So I'm going to scoop out the big pieces of the onion and just throw those away. Okay, now I'll put in a little cornstarch. To thicken it a little bit. Alright, so we've got some bubbles here of cornstarch, but we'll skim those off. So let it stand and boil off some of the water mass for a few minutes. Then skim it again, and then at the very end, salt and pepper to taste. So even after several minutes of boiling it, it still didn't thicken. So clearly Mr. Chef's recipe that I tried didn't work. Maybe I should have used more flour, I guess. I don't know. It's hardly thicker than water. But this is what we have, so this is what we use after we salt and pepper it. Here we have the cut up bird, which is the white meat is definitely done. And it's a little bit moist too. It's moister than I thought it might be. And the drumstick, the meat closest to the bird, there's a little bit blood there. I'm not quite sure about it. Maybe we can bake that later. But everything seemed to turn out well, along with the stuffing, which we made from bread and some other ingredients. So overall, it seemed to turn out well, although it did take quite a bit of work.